So this is the same thing you see on your paper. We're on number 1. All it means for something to be a system of equations is you have more than one equation. You could have 2, 3, 4, 5. Today we're just working with 2 different equations. So what we're going to do is we're going to graph both of them, and they're going to cross at some point. Wherever they cross, that's our answer. So we're going to look at this top equation right here. Y equals negative 5 over 3x plus 3. So this 3 right here tells us where to make our first point. Since it says positive 3, we're going to go on our y-axis up 1, 2, 3, and we're going to make a point. So everybody make a point at positive 3 right there. We also know what our slope is. It's the number that's right in front of x. And on this top equation, it is negative 5 over 3. So since the top number has a negative, that means I have to go down 5. The bottom number is a positive, so I'll go to the right 3. We worked on slope the last couple of weeks. Slope is really important. It tells you exactly how to get from one point to your next point. So everybody needs to put their pen or pencil on the point we already made and go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and write 1, 2, 3. And make a new point. You have to do both things. Go down 5 and write 3, and then you can make a point. You need to have a ruler. This needs to be nice and neat. Okay? If you can't make your lines nice and neat, you're not going to be able to see where your answer is. So make a line that goes through those 2 points. Like I said, this should not be like squiggly. This should be a nice and neat line. That's why you have a ruler. So that first part of this problem is done. Now we're going to do the second part of this problem. We're on the second equation now. I'm looking right here where it says negative 3. I'm going to find my y-axis, and I'm going to go down negative 3 and make a point. So on mine, I am making it blue so that you can see we're looking at the blue line that I'm making right now. So we made the point at negative 3. Our slope is 1 over 3. Since the top number is positive, that means I would go up 1. Since the bottom number is positive, that means I would go to the right 3. So we're going to put our point or our pencil on the blue point on negative 3. And from there, we're going to go up 1 and write 1, 2, 3. And look at that. We're on the same point right there. So now what we'll do is we will take our ruler. I have a line thing that I'm like kind of using instead of my pen, and we're going to make a line through those blue points. Okay, so the answer to this system of equations is wherever the points meet. And so I'm going to make that green. You can see where those 2 lines cross each other. We need to write down that ordered pair. So remember, you always do how far over it takes to get to that point and then how far up or down. So I have to go right 1, 2, 3. So the first number would be a 3. And I have to go down 1, 2. So my y value would be negative 2. This is the answer of my system of equations. So that's it. You find where the 2 lines cross, you write down the ordered pair, and that's your answer. So this is one way you can solve a system of equations. There's 3 ways you can do it. This is the first way, and this is if you have y equals mx plus b equations for both. So now we're going to do number 2. Same thing, they're just different equations. We're going to look at our top one first. It tells us positive 3. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3 and make a point. My slope is just a 4. How do I make a 4 a fraction? Thank you. The top number is positive. That means I would be going up 4. The bottom number is also positive, so I would be going to the right 1. So to graph that point, I put my pen or pencil on the point I already made, and I would go up 1, 2. Do you see how I can't actually go up 4 because there's not 4 to go up? If that happens to you, you can do the exact opposite of your slope. So instead of, what's the opposite of going up 4? I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. And what's the opposite of going right 1? Left 1. Then I can make my new point there. So if it doesn't fit, you do the exact opposite of your slope. So I went down 4, left 1. And now I get my ruler. I make a line through those 2 points. And remember, it needs to be a nice and neat line, or else you're not going to be able to see where the two cross each other. And the first one is done. The second one, now we have to graph our second equation. The last number in our second equation is a -2. I'm going to go on my y-axis to -2, and I'm going to make a point right there. I made my blue point at -2. This time my slope just says negative. Well, that's the same thing as saying -1. How do I make -1 a fraction? Over 1. The top number is actually a negative this time, so that means I have to go down 1. The bottom number is still positive, so I still am going to go to the right 1. So I put my pen or pencil on my blue point, and I'm going to follow the directions of my slope. It says to go down 1 and then right 1. After I do that, I can make a new point. Down 1, right 1, make a new point. Then you can connect those points. I made 3 of them. You really only have to have 2. Connect your points with a line. There's my line. It's nice and neat. Now all I have to do is look to see where my 2 lines cross each other, and I highlighted that green. You can see that point right there. We need to write down that ordered pair. So how far to the left did I have to go? Just 1, so that's -1. I had to go -1, and I also had to go down 1, so the other number is also -1. That is my answer to the system of equations. What that means is I could plug in -1 for x and -1 for y, and it's going to work for both the top and the bottom equation. Okay, how do you feel about this? It's not too bad, is it? I want you to try to graph the first one for number 3. So the first equation for number 3, what I will tell you is I would put the negative for my slope with the top number. So my slope on this one will be -1/2. This is number 3. I want you to graph that top line. You can try both if you finish it quickly. Okay, give me like a thumbs up if you finish the first line. Okay, so we're going to check that first one. You should have a point at -1 right here. Your slope, the top number is -1. That means I would be going down 1. The bottom number is positive, so I would be going to the right 2. So from the red point, I'm going to go down 1 and right 2, and there's my new point. I want to connect those points, and remember, when you connect these, your line should go through the entire graph. Don't just connect those 2 points. Make your line go through the entire graph. All right, the second line, you need to graph that one. So start by making this point right here at -4. From there, you follow what your slope says. So some of you have probably already done that. I'm going to give you guys about 30 seconds to get that one started. All right, your first point should be at -4. Here's my first point right here where I made the blue dot. My slope is 1/4. They're both positive. That means I would go up 1 and I would go right 4. If I put my pencil on my blue dot, I go up 1, 2, no, just 1, sorry. I go up 1, right 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. I'm going to now connect those points. And we want to know where the two lines cross at what ordered pair. Does anybody have that? 4, -3 is correct. So if that's what you had, good job. So how I got that is I started 0, 0. I went over 4 and down 3, and that's where I got the point where they cross at. Okay, this number 4 is a little bit different. We're going to do this one together because the first equation is a different type of equation. We did learn how to graph this, but I want to remind you. If your equation says y equals 1, you're going to make a t-chart. And what's the only number that I'm allowed to put underneath y now? Well, what's it tell you at the top? Y equals what? -1. The only number I'm allowed to put underneath y is -1. I get to pick whatever number I want for x because it doesn't tell me in that first equation to use any specific thing. So I'm going to use 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to plot these 3 points. So the first point I want to plot is 1, -1. So I put my pencil at 0, 0. I go over 1 and I go down 1, and then I make a point. That's my first point. The second point on my t-chart is 2, -1. So I put my pencil at 0, 0. I go over 2, and then I go down 1, and I make a point. The third point I want is 3, -1. So back at 0, 0, I go over 1, 2, 3, down 1. So this line is kind of special because it's a horizontal line. So I'll connect those 3 dots right there. The first one was a horizontal line, so that was a little bit different than the other 3 that we've done so far. The other line, the second one, is very similar to the ones we've already done. I'm going to make a point at +4. My slope is -5/2. What that means is my top number is saying I should go down 5, and I should go right 2. So I put my pencil back on my blue point, and I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to go right 1, 2, and there's my other blue point. I connect my dots with a line. And we want to know where my 2 lines cross each other. That's our final answer. So I'm going to highlight that in green for you right here. So what is that ordered pair that is green? I have to go over how many? I think it's 2. And then I have to actually go down 1. Got to go right 1, 2, and down 1. All right. You have a back side of this paper. I'm going to ask you to attempt to do the back side on your own, and in about 10, 11, 12 minutes, we're going to come back and make sure you have the right answers. Try the back side on your own.